Roddy McDowall. You won't believe what happened next. A beloved child star grew up to become Hollywood's favorite gentleman, a gifted photographer, and the life of every secret Malibu party, until the FBI rolled up to his house with trucks and agents. That raid didn't just box up reels and tapes, it blew open a hidden world of friendships, favors, and betrayal. This is the wild, complicated story of Roddy McDowall, and yes, a nod to the brilliant, now-departed Paul Newman, whose writing helped shape the very franchise that made Roddy a legend. Born on the 17th of September 1928 in Herne Hill, London, Roddy McDowall, full name Roderick Andrew Anthony Jude McDowall, was pushed toward the spotlight early. His father, Thomas, went to sea. His mother, Winifred, dreamed of acting and poured that ambition into her son. By 4, he was winning poetry prizes. By 5, he was in elocution classes. By 10, he made his film debut in Murder in the Family. He and his sister Virginia tore through school drama awards like it was nothing. Then, war darkened the sky. In 1940, as the Blitz pounded Britain, 2-year-old Roddy and his family joined the waves of evacuees to America, with almost no money, $42 to be exact. While his father served, Winifred marched her son into talent agencies until someone noticed the earnest boy with the crisp accent and the life-or-death backstory. A screen test landed in front of director William Wyler, and suddenly Roddy was in Manhunt, 1941, and then How Green Was My Valley, the film that famously edged out Citizen Kane at the 1,942 Oscars. He was 13. Studios built entire towns for that movie. Critics compared him to Shirley Temple. A 7-year contract followed. He kept leveling up. My Friend Flicka turned him into the boy and horse every kid rooted for. In The Keys of the Kingdom, he matched the gravity of Gregory Peck. In Molly and Me, he flipped between comedy and raw emotion like it was nothing. He didn't actually win the Juvenile. Oscar Margaret O'Brien did, but by 16, he was the family's breadwinner, working 6 days a week, $2,500 a week. No real space to be a normal teenager. Pressure? Tons. But Winifred saved every penny, and Roddy kept grinding. When the child star glow fades, most careers do too. Roddy refused that fate. He hit Broadway with compulsion based on the Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb case, proving he had an adult edge. In Midnight Lace, he played unsettling and sly. He swaggered into Camelot as Mordred, singing The 7 Deadly Virtues and earning a Tony nod. Then came Cleopatra. Talk about spectacle, production chaos. Elizabeth Taylor almost dying from pneumonia, budgets that nearly sank a studio. Roddy, playing Octavian, kept his cool amid a storm of costumes, rewrites, and front-page romance with Richard Burton. He kept chasing big canvases. The greatest story ever told, with Max von Sydow, Charlton Heston, and Sidney Poitier. But the role that branded him into pop culture was buried in foam rubber. Hours before dawn, 5 days a week, Roddy became Cornelius in Planet of the Apes. The prosthetics were grueling ears, here, jaw, there, even blackened lower teeth. But on screen, Cornelius came alive, curious, gentle, brave. The movie exploded, and Roddy, the constant documenter, kept an 8mm camera rolling behind the scenes, actors sipping through straws in orangutan muzzles, helicopters to the beach, giddy laughter breaking through latex. He even showed that footage on The Carol Burnett Show years later, sitting patiently in the chair again, just so audiences could see the transformation happen. He wasn't done with the Apes. Escape from the Planet of the Apes shifted the saga to modern Los Angeles and let Roddy shoulder the emotion of being hunted. Critics loved that character first turn. He missed Beneath the Planet of the Apes because he was directing his own movie, Tam Lin, also released as The Devil's Widow, with Ava Gardner, a fairy tale that got mangled by bankruptcy and re-edits. then rescued decades later with an assist from Martin Scorsese. It's now considered a lost gem. Parallel to acting, Roddy carved out a second life behind the camera. His photo books, double exposure series, weren't just glossy portraits, they were intimate collaborations. James Baldwin writing on Marlon Brando, Katharine Hepburn on Lauren Bacall. He'd been shooting for Life and Vogue since the 50 Seconds, but these books cemented him as the person stars trusted with their unguarded selves. The later volumes got darker and braver. Judy Garland at her most fragile, captured with compassion. Elizabeth Taylor stripped of myth, wrestling with love and addiction. These weren't takedowns, they were truth told gently. And then there were the parties. Imagine a summer afternoon in Malibu. Paul Newman flips burgers, Lauren Bacall sunbathes, Rock Hudson, Anthony Perkins, Natalie Wood, Jane Fonda wander in and out of frame. No handlers, no paparazzi, just friends. Roddy often filmed those gatherings but locked the reels away. He wasn't a gossip, he was a guardian. That's what makes the 18th of December 1974 so shocking. The FBI raided Roddy's North Hollywood home and seized an enormous private film library, hundreds of 16mm prints, over 1,000 tapes. Studios had been junking old reels for years, and Roddy had been buying, archiving, and even transferring them to early video formats so they'd survive. In his mind, he was saving cinema history, not selling black market copies. But to investigators, unauthorized duplication was unauthorized duplication. Under pressure, Roddy cooperated, naming sources and friends, including Rock Hudson and producer Arthur P. Jacobs, along with others tied to how prints circulated. For a man whose home was a sanctuary, handing over names was devastating. The case fizzled by mid-1975 with no charges, but the damage was personal. Movie nights evaporated, some friendships chilled. The lesson hung in the air. The line between preservation and piracy can be razor thin. Through it all, Roddy stayed devoted. He joined the Academy's board, advocated for film preservation, and later helped restore epics like Cleopatra. The past mattered to him, not as trophies, but as memory. His private life held its own epic. In 1951, Elizabeth Taylor introduced Roddy to Montgomery Clift. They fell deeply in love. Roddy moved to New York, acted less, lived more for him. When Monty pulled away, Roddy broke. He attempted to end his life, survived, and remarkably remained a steadfast friend, even helping Clift through his final film, The Defector. Hollywood in those days was brutal to queer men. Agents like Henry Wilson cut backroom deals to trade one star's secret for another's safety. Roddy never outed anyone. Instead, he hosted spaces where Rock Hudson, Tab Hunter, and others could exhale. He took playful photos, shot beach walks with Julie Andrews, kept confidences like a priest. When the industry looked past him, he found a way back. In Fright Night 1985, Roddy stole scenes as Peter Vincent, a washed-up horror host who rediscovers his courage when real vampires crawl out of the dark. The role mirrored a man too often underestimated. Audiences loved him for it. If you felt pulled into this hidden corner of Hollywood, the late-night phone calls, the beach parties, the locked archive that won't open for decades, drop a like. Tell me in the comments, which part of Roddy McDowall's journey surprised you most: the FBI raid, the Apes transformation, or the friendships he protected? And hey, if you love stories where the truth is messier, deeper, and far more human than the headlines, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more where this came from.